Hey everyone, Niamh here from Better Workday, and this week I'm talking about productivity paranoia and job swapping. Let's begin with productivity paranoia because I am hearing a lot about this at the moment. There are two sides to it. On the one hand, we have some managers who are concerned that their teams aren't being as productive as they could be, and they want to see them in the office so that they can see them working. On the other hand, we've got a lot of employees, team members who are worried that on the days they go into the office they aren't as productive, that they're not getting as much done because they end up getting caught up in conversations and getting sidetracked. So what we have here is a bit of a conundrum, and it's not going to be easily solved. But what we can do is start to ask more questions so that we can better understand it and how it's impacting our own teams and our own companies. The first is, I think we should question what we measure productivity by and what we understand it to be at the moment. Over the last couple of years, we have increased our reliance on technology. It allowed us to work together regardless of where we were working from, and that's fantastic. But I know a lot of people now measure their productivity in terms of the volume of emails sent, the number of Teams messages responded to, the number of meetings attended, the number of tasks checked off their to-do list. And all of these metrics give them a sense of, yes, I achieved something today. I did a lot of stuff. I was productive. And all of these things are giving us this instant gratification. I sent an email, ding, that's a job done. I attended a meeting, ding, that's another job done. I ticked an item off my to-do list and my software said, congratulations, you have been really productive today. Ding, I have another job done. When we look at productivity only in terms of how it can be measured in this way, we're missing out on the opportunity to develop relationships with other people, to collaborate and come up with new ideas, and to help solve problems in another team that might benefit the company overall. So when we are working face to face in person, there might be more opportunity to do that kind of stuff, and that is valuable too, even though you don't get a ding the minute you have it done. But of course, it's easy for me to say this. What about the people who've got a to-do list that's so big and overloaded that they just don't have the time for those conversations, to build those relationships, and when they are in the office they do genuinely fall behind their work? Well, this is a conversation that I think needs to happen more in 2023, and it's around people's workload, both at individual and team level. And if we're going to address it, it needs to be addressed from the top down. Because every time there's a new project, a new initiative, a change to an existing program, there is a flurry of work that gets trickled down to everybody and added onto their plates. And if we keep doing this without allowing things to be finished and completed, then the work will never get done and people won't have the space to be able to build the relationships, the space to have a successful day beyond just the ding, ding, ding of the emails, the meetings and the to-do list. So if you are a team leader or a manager, maybe now is the time for you to have a conversation with your team about your workload and about your understanding of what productivity and success is. I'd leave you with this thought to consider what work where when it comes to your list and when it comes to your week overall. Map out what you want to achieve for the week and then decide the best place to get that work done. Then organise your work as much as possible to be able to do the best things in the best place. So that's it when it comes to productivity paranoia. Well, really it's only the beginning, and I'll be talking more about it because there is more to play than even what I just discussed there. Now, I did talk about workload briefly, and one of the things that comes up a lot when I talk about workload is the gap between how long the manager thinks it takes to do a job and how long the employee says it takes to do a job. And this one can get sticky because the manager will say that they know from experience how long it takes to do something, and the employee will say, well, they're doing it day in, day out, so surely they know how long it takes to do something. And I'd argue that both can be improved. And this is where the idea of a job swap comes in. And it is a challenge, and I know that not everybody would be up for doing it, but I do know that some people will. So the idea is that a manager and a member of the team job swap for a day or two, so that you can get a better understanding of what each other's work actually entails, the different challenges, and maybe opportunities for the other person to improve. You're doing it from a place of living the job as opposed to just observing, so any recommendations you do make will be more genuine. This is easier said than done, I know, because there's a few prerequisites you need to have, but all of these are needed anyway. So the first thing that you need to make sure is you need to be able to explain your job or the tasks that you're going to swap to the other person. Now you might say, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to write up a list of instructions or to give somebody a debrief. And I'd argue there might be a time that you need to do that anyway. If you're out of work unexpectedly, or if you get to change job or get moved on to a different project. So if you don't already have some piece of documentation or some way of informing other people what you do and how you do it, that's a bit of a red flag. So you should be doing that. The second thing you might say is, we don't have the time to swap and take that extra effort in terms of getting back on track when the swap is finished. And I would argue, well, yes, that is true. You might be caught for time, but how much time are you spending working the way you're currently working, and even having conversations around how long should different tasks take? Sometimes you do need to take a step back, look at things from a different perspective to be able to move forward in a better way. And finally, I hear often that no one is up for it, that you won't have any member of the team interested in doing this swap. And I'd ask you to ask your team before you assume that, because many people do indeed want to improve the way that everyone works in the whole group and not just their own work, because of course there is that lovely ripple effect. So I would love to know if any of you would be up for planning a job swap for even a day, or even two tasks, one task each, swap them over in the next couple of months. If you're willing and if you're up for it, let me know and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have to help you be successful in doing that. Okay, that's my update for this week. As always, if you've any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And until then, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.